Hey YouTubers, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell over by the subscriber button to notify you every single time I upload. Enjoy the video. Hey
YouTubers!
That's MJ. And guys, we're going to talk to you guys today about Dragon Ball Super and whether this series is now so popular in Japan and worldwide, because now we got it, running in the United States. It's definitely being sold around the world. This is becoming more of a juggernaut almost every single week. Now, it has been down in ratings, but the one thing that whenever you see someone say like, oh, Dragon Ball Super is down in ratings, or this was the lowest rated week, like, I don't believe that there's been a point in Dragon Ball Super where it's not in the top 10 of its time slot every single week. And it does have a very competitive time slot on Sunday mornings, just basically a kid's show. So with that being said, man, do you feel like it's time for like Dragon Ball Super, with the Dragon Room being created about a year ago, and this idea that Dragon Ball Super could potentially have a concurrent running anime series along with the main running series, with Goku and Vegeta basically doing their own thing, and then something going on, it starts at 9 and then 9:30 we have like another Dragon Ball show or something, that type of stuff. I mean, we've done this a lot in the past in the United States, where we have shows basically come in, blow up, and then have multiple running spin-offs at the exact same time that show is running. I mean, with Happy Days and basically the Jeffersons, Good Times, all these other really old shows that were basically spin-offs of each other, whether you knew that or not. And I'm wondering if it's time for Dragon Ball Super to actually have that type of a recognition and that type of a production value, where they're doing multiple stories with multiple different people at the same time. What are your thoughts?
I completely agree, and it's not just with Japan either, because you are right. I do recall, conversations with other people who are more informed about this, that it is like in the top 10, and I believe recently, and like a few weeks ago, they did beat One Piece. They actually did beat One Piece, which is Toei's top dog right now. So yeah, and it's not just Japan either. It's us, bro. It's like I get on Discord, and it almost reminds me of the Toonami days, because people literally are like, "Hey, I want to go watch Super together. Okay, we'll pull it up on the website. Let's all press play at the same." And it's like we've got to a point where that's legit happening right now. We all come home from, whether it's work or whatever we're doing on a Saturday. Whatever it is, and then we just want to watch Super. We tune into Crunchyroll every 9 o'clock, to watch it, and that's special in a way. Super is at its peak right now. You talked about that, and I think a most notable spin-off type of situation for the people who are newer, like the newer fans, is obviously The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead. So that's a more notable one. It's a little different, but it's the most noticeable one that you will remember off the top. They can easily do that. Me and you talked about how we would love a hit spinoff, a Universe 6 thing. So it would be cool to have like Dragon Ball Super doing something once you get out of the Tournament of Power arc, or the Universe Survival arc, excuse me. Once we get out of here, you can have the whole Goku and Vegeta stuff keep going, and then on this newer show, you can have stuff going on with the other universes, or just even like the other of the Dragon Team. I wasn't gonna say Z-Fighters, but I know people hate that name, so some of the other Dragon Team members, so on and so forth, because we've done so many videos on this. It would take days to plug all the videos on our channels, but no, I'm not trying to sound egotistical. I'm just saying that we've done so many videos on the NSG stuff, is that we talked about the possibility that even if like Goten and Trunks aged and so on and so forth, that they would most likely just become jabronis. You know what I mean? They would just kind of be like the punching bag. They would be like what Vegeta is. They would be, hey, we can fight you super strong guy because we have fusion. Boom, and then they get beat up, and then it's like, oh no, we need God Goku and Vegeta to step in. So it would be cool to kind of get like, again, the spin-off stuff where you can have Gotenks maybe have like a little mini arc, and actually flesh it out, not a rush thing like the Patafu arc. Actually flesh it out. You can do there's so much stuff they can do with the whole Dragon Room, spin-off manga, spin-off TV shows, but a TV show would actually be kind of cool, because it would be treading that water, like you mentioned. We do it in the US, so it would be cool to kind of get that here. And I think Dragon Ball, yeah, One Piece does beat it most of the time in ratings. But if I remember correctly, and you guys can correct me down below, but if I remember correctly, Dragon Ball is at least number 1 or 2 every single quarterly when it comes to merch. I don't think anything beats Dragon Ball when it comes to merch, and if it does, it's very rarely. So again, Dragon Ball is at all-time high right now, and from a money point of view, from a fan point of view, from the community, everything. So if they wanted to try this spin-off, whether it's a new weekly manga, a new monthly manga, or a new TV show, they can do it, bro. I really think they can, and I would be all fucking for it. Let me tell you that much.
The one thing I was always kind of concerned about, or at least kind of weirded out about with the Dragon Room, the very first foray into like the brand new stuff that they were making for the series was a what if manga with Yamcha. And I understand this because it's one of the things that we as a community do all the time is what if this, what if this, what if this. It was just a little weird because they kind of took it out of the realm of Dragon Ball and made it more like, kind of made it like it wasn't as important or world shattering because, oh, it is just a story that we are reading and stuff. But I know that's not necessarily having anything to do with the series as whole or anything else like that. The reason for this video, and another one, actually, I just thought of another one, Sheldon, the new Sheldon thing in the Big Bang Theory, that's coming out. So like that's a concurrent series running alongside its spin-off. But the one thing is, with Dragon Ball Super has done something that no other Dragon Ball series has ever done. Is as expansive as Dragon Ball has always been and always continues to push forward and introduce new characters, new planets, universes, all this other stuff. Dragon Ball Super has introduced so many new characters that we have glossed over and not really given any type of spotlight. And I know we've talked about this before, like you said, there's just too many videos of us just basically talking about, oh, this, that, or the other, like wouldn't it be cool, this, and yada yada. But to give those people time, to give these characters time where you can basically take an entire series or maybe even kind of an anthology series where you give them just a special 12 or 6 episode run and just kind of see where it goes. And if it's a massive success, then they could do more episodes and they can bring it back for a season 2 or something. It doesn't have to be a weekly thing. It can be like a completely different entity, but you can focus on Goku or Goten and Trunks or Pan and Brawl or Hit or Kaba and the Sadal Force or the Pride Troopers or any of these other characters that we've been glossing over this whole time, and we've all been wanting and shouting for us to have more screen time for these things. But they could do this and then still allow Dragon Ball Super to be Goku and Vegeta's show, which has definitely been working. I mean, as much as we like to sit there and talk about the what ifs and all the things that they could potentially do, why would they stop? Because it's been, like you said, killing it week to week to week. And it's just ridiculous that it's just ridiculous how well it's doing and how much of a cultural shock and nostalgia force Dragon Ball has basically uplifted itself back from the grave basically over just a couple years ago, and everyone wants to talk about it now. Everyone is excited about it, at least us and all of our community. So I personally think that this is really the right time to do this. There's no better time than right now than to put their feet in the water and try to test out other things and not just wait for Dragon Ball Super's popularity to wane over the next couple years and then decide to do it, or then to kind of take advantage of this or something like that and do these spin-off mangas, or even worse yet, basically allowing Dragon Ball Super to age Goku and Vegeta out and basically trying to have the series proper kind of push the story forward with people like Goten and Trunks and Pan and Brawl or Kaba or any of the other characters that they've actually introduced. Now is the time.
It's funny because you mentioned anthology, and I recently purchased the True Detective Season 1 Blu-ray. Mm-hmm. And True Detective is an anthology crime drama that came out on HBO, I believe, in 2014. They did a part Season 2, but basically it was a story that was supposed to revolve around detectives and their different things. So it was never supposed to be the same characters recurring, obviously anthology. And even though there was some hate about Season 2, I still enjoyed it, and I overall enjoyed the True Detective lore and the different stories it told. So I'm just thinking in my head, how fucking awesome would it be? How awesome would it be to get like a Dragon Ball anthology? I don't know what they would call it, but let's say, obviously we have the main story that's continuing, right? We have the main story that's continuing, that's going on. But then like for a certain point of 1 year, out of the year, we get like a 12 episode thing, right? And the first thing is like Hit's background, right? And then the next year it's like 12 episodes, right? One full season. And then like the next year, or you can even do it, 2, depends on how long depends on how much time they have, the time frame. The next year you can do like Frieza's like backstory, and the next you can do like so on and so forth, like a side story. Like I would love that, you know what I mean? That would, oh my god, man. I would love it, bro. I'm just saying, I would love that.
I would say, though, like, I know Hit would probably be, like, a really good... I mean, at least in my opinion, he's one of my favorite characters. I'm not necessarily sure... I am, but like I don't necessarily know how popular he is outside of just like me and my circles. I would definitely do, just because it would just probably be the easiest for them if they were going to start this and actually just test the waters. Do a Jocko spinoff.
Oh yeah,
I mean, they already have the material.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
They have the material, and then you can, especially if that hits really well, then there are so many other reasons. Like the whole Galactic Patrol is a treasure trove of ideas, especially if they want to jump ahead of Super a little bit, like around the time Z ends or something, and they have so many characters to play off of. Not even just to mention reintroducing and kind of showcasing Tights as a character in and of herself, and then everyone else in that manga. And then you can do so many other things with Pan and Bra, and maybe even going to Planet Vegeta and learning more about the mythology of how like Vegeta grew up, and then basically more Bardock stuff if you want to basically remake Dragon Ball Minus. And then like, there's just so many things that they could do that they could help Dragon Ball Super kind of display its popularity, display its creative potential without necessarily harming Dragon Ball Super. Now, I will say, it is always a risk. I mean, it just definitely is always a risk to have a concurrent running spinoff along with the main series, because it might take away from initial excitement. There's a lot more content out there, and we might not get as excited for it as we do right now. Like you were saying, we come back or we get ready on Saturday nights or Sunday mornings whenever you watch Dragon Ball Super, and you're like, oh my god, I want to watch it. But now there's just like, okay, I have to watch this, and now 12 months or 12 weeks out of a year or something, I have to watch this, and then this story isn't necessarily going to continue, but I want it to continue. I mean, there's definitely some pitfalls there, but to me, this just seems like a really awesome idea, and I would really like to see them actually take advantage of the popularity that this show actually has right now.
Definitely. Right now would be the perfect time for them to pull the trigger. And hell, more content for us to make. I'm just kidding.
No, but like, yeah, more things to talk about. Like, look, the one thing here is more content that they're putting out there, the more that we have to talk about. And if there's one thing that I've learned from this community, is that there is no shortage of topics, and there is no shortage of just general fan excitement for everything Dragon Ball. And it's one of the best things. It's why I always cover this stuff. It's why I'm always excited to talk about Dragon Ball every single day. And I know you're the same way. So for me, this just seems like a win-win-win situation. I would love it, and I'm sure you would as well. And in fact, one thing that you and I should do going forward, and tell us in the comment section below if you want to see us do this. MJ and I have always wanted to do this. Should we finally pull the trigger and do a series where we basically just talk about all the spin-offs that we want, basically give you guys a detailed outline of like characters, situations, plot, and general story, and then just geek out about it for a while.
I would be down. Yeah.
You would, yeah. Like that's something, guys. Tell us what you want if you want more of that stuff in the future, and we're gonna do our best to make that happen.
We'll call it the "Let Me Paint a Picture for You" series.
Dragon Ball Paint a Picture.
And our artwork will be me and you with the brush, bro, and the chalkboard, the whiteboard or whatever.
Exactly. Anyway, guys, I think we're going to leave it at that. Please make sure to go down to the description section below and hit that link. Go check out MJ's channel. It's really awesome over there. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell for more content going forward. And I hope everyone has a good day. It's been real.